Hi, I'm Annalise.
Hi, I'm Mel.
And today we thought we would talk to you about our experiences with postnatal depression. Both of us have experienced it in very different ways.
Very different ways.
Mel's experienced it twice and had previous depression as well, actually, whereas I have experienced it for the first time this time after my fourth baby. And my experience wasn't entirely what you would imagine from postnatal depression. So I think it would be quite interesting for us to tell our stories so that other people who might be suffering in the same way as us can realise what is going on with their bodies and their hormones and their head after having a baby. So I'll pass you over to Mel and she can tell you hers first.
When I first fell pregnant, had no problems whatsoever. It wasn't till after I had my first child that I actually experienced anything. I didn't actually know what it was. It wasn't till my actual father, who was speaking to me on the phone, had said that my mum had previously suffered with it, that he kind of probably saw similar symptoms to what I was experiencing and said, you might want to go to the doctors. I had been to the doctors. At first, the first time I spoke to them, they said, we definitely think there's something wrong. They gave me a course of tablets to obviously help everything, but he said that it could just be more, blues. But after a month and coming off them again, I then experienced it even worse. And then it kind of was diagnosed that it was definitely postnatal depression. But the way I was feeling, I really did not experience it and think that that was anything to do with postnatal depression. I felt ill.
Your symptoms weren't what you would expect from, when you think of postnatal depression, you think of being depressed and sad and crying all the time, don't you? I mean, some people do experience it in that way, but there are lots of other symptoms.
Yeah, I definitely did have the feeling of sad, the feeling of I can't do this, I can't cope. But the actual feelings that I had as well, because I was also suffering with anxiety and I didn't realise that was what was going on. I actually was feeling unwell, panicking, and I didn't realise it was panic attacks that I was experiencing.
You were getting dizzy, weren't you?
Yeah, I was getting dizzy spells, and it was so strange. I even drove myself to A&E thinking I was having a heart attack because I didn't realise it was my head that was doing it all. And that is such a horrible feeling to go through, and obviously it took a long time for everything to settle down, but once everything settled down I was so much more myself again, and I never felt that I unable to look after my daughter. It was the fact of I couldn't look after myself, and the unknown feeling, especially like driving myself to A&E, I'm not being funny, feeling like you're having a heart attack. It's not something you want to experience. I mean,
no.
My body was fooling me, and it was so unusual feeling. I still had the feeling of like I can't cope. Why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling like this? I've seen other people have children and they've never had any issues whatsoever. And you don't realise how many people out there until you obviously speak to your friends and things to see that actually you're not the only one.
No, but everybody experiences it in such a different way. My experience of it is completely and utterly different from Mel's, entirely. After I had all of my babies, except my second, I had baby blues. You're tearful for a couple of weeks and that's fine, and then it goes away, and that was the end of it. So I kind of expected number 4 to be exactly the same. So it was a bit of a shock when I had the baby blues and they disappeared, and then suddenly, it wasn't even sudden actually, it was very gradually, I noticed that I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel sad or depressed, I wasn't crying, I didn't feel like I couldn't cope, I didn't feel like everything was getting on top of me at all. I was just finding myself going into a shell. I had lost all of my confidence. I'd lost all of my self-confidence. I was very anxious. I didn't like stating my opinion on things. I didn't like conflict in any way, shape or form.
Which is so unlike her.
Yeah. I don't like conflict.
No.
But no, I'm not normally shy. I'm
No,
normally
she's definitely an outgoing person.
Yeah, really talkative.
Yeah.
And I was going into a shell, wasn't I? I was getting quieter and quieter, not socialising as much as I had been. Hated the spotlight being on me. So if we were in a group of friends and I suddenly said something, you know, just in a conversation, but everybody then looked at me to listen, I couldn't cope with it. I didn't like it. I was going bright red in the face, wasn't I?
It's so unusual,
like getting
to know.
really embarrassed over things that normally I would not have battered an eyelid about talking about. So I knew that something was wrong. I went to the doctors, and I actually, before I could even talk to him, I burst into tears. And I hadn't been crying a lot at home at all. It was just a sort of, I know something's wrong with me, please help, you know.
It's almost like a relief to actually also know that something can be done.
Yeah, someone's going to help. And to be honest, because I didn't feel depressed or sad or overwhelmed in any way at all, if I hadn't have had friends who have previously had postnatal depression who said, yeah, no, you don't always feel depressed, I probably wouldn't have picked up on the fact that that was what was going on with me. I'd have just, I don't know, I'd have probably put it down to being like overly tired from my baby waking up in the night, or I don't know, hormonal changes. But that is what postnatal depression is. It's hormonal changes, a chemical imbalance where your body and your hormones and the chemicals in your body haven't balanced themselves back out after pregnancy. Because let's face it, pregnancy and labour, your hormones are, you know, yeah, they're like crazy little buggers. So after I went to the doctors, he obviously, from just looking at me and listening to what I said, he asked me if I felt like counselling would help, and I said no, I don't think counselling would help me, because I don't feel like my problem is outside of my body, if you know what I mean. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel like I need to talk through problems or anything like that. I just know that my hormones aren't right and they're doing this to me. And he, after, you know, talking to him for a little bit, he was quite happy that, yeah, you know, he could see what was going on. He agreed with me that I was coping fine. I didn't need to talk it over. I just needed something that was going to balance my body. So he put me on some tablets, very low dose, because I wasn't, you know, severe. Luckily, I'd caught it quite early on. I think had I have left it, it may have got worse. Put me on some tablets, and he said, it's not a quick fix. There's no way of fixing it quickly. You have to give your body time. But what the tablets do is help your body, or help you to feel okay while your body is settling itself out again. So within about 3 days, I started to feel better. He said it would take 3 months for them to actually take full effect, and then after you feel better, you have to be on them a further 6 months to allow your body to naturally produce the right amount of hormones and chemicals.
It's never a quick fix.
No.
And this time, second time round after having it, which I didn't think I would really, the nurses did say to me, well, the midwife did say to me that it's not 100% you're going to get it again, but obviously they keep an eye on you just in case, because obviously they need to make sure that you are coping okay.
Yeah.
And again, the second time round after taking tablets, I was on it so much longer than I expected to be on it. But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
No.
At the end of the day, you're
it's nothing to do with you. It's your hormones.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're a bad mum. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're not as strong as your friend who didn't get it. Mm-hmm. Not at all. It's luck of the draw, really. I've had 4 babies. 3 of them I escaped it. And the 4th and final one, when really I should have been able to, you know, breeze, or you'd imagine you could breeze through it because you've done it 3 times previously. Yeah. My hormones were like, nope, we're not gonna play ball this time. You know, we're gonna do this to you. But again, it's really, really important to talk about it and to realise what's going on with your body. Don't hide away. It's a perfectly normal thing. The doctors see it every day. You can go in there, tell them how you're feeling, and, you know, it might not be postnatal depression, it might be something else, but chances are, if you don't feel right in yourself, it might be that, and it's just your hormones playing havoc with you. And tablets or counselling, depending on why you are feeling like that, will help. And talking to people about it will help. And you're not failing. You're not abnormal.
No, definitely not, and don't ever think that.
No,
seriously.
just talk to people. There are so many people that will understand.
It's surprising how many people you actually speak to that open up about it, and you realise, oh my God, I never would have assumed that you would have ever sort of like been there and been through something like that, because at the time you do feel really, really lonely when you're experiencing things like that, and you do feel that, why am I? And it's I've seen other mums and they seem to be coping absolutely fine, so why can't I? But I don't think
don't judge yourself,
ever.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because it's not a reflection on you as a person or as a mother. It's just one of those things. It's a naturally occurring thing. It's nothing you did or anybody else did.
No.
It's just one of those things.
No, and don't ever be put off with. Obviously, it's hard to go through each pregnancy and thinking in the back of your mind, am I going to experience this? Because don't get me wrong, third time round now, and in the back of my mind, I do feel that, am I going to, go through my pregnancy and get it again? But at the end of the day, if it happens, it happens. And I've got supportive friends and family around me that will help me through it. And the doctors are aware of it, the midwives are aware of it. So at the end of the day, I'm in good hands. I really, really am. But it doesn't mean I'm definitely going to get it again. Not at all. You just don't know. Same with Annalise. Yeah, absolutely. She's had 3 pregnancies without anything other than like morning.
The normal baby blues.
Yeah, baby blues. And I mean, she just experienced it in the last one, so it doesn't mean that you're always going to experience it.
And also, I don't think you need to remember it's got nothing to do with personality traits either, because to look at me normally, like before I got postnatal depression, I'm like the bubbliest, always happy, always outgoing, always up for a laugh kind of person, and yet I still got it. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
We just wanted to put that out there for you, so you're not alone. And if you feel like you're suffering and you're not ready to talk to anybody that you know yet, you can pop a comment in the box below, and we're more than happy to help you in whatever way we can, answer any questions about our experiences, and lead you in a way that might help you. Try and
definitely
help you as best we can.
Don't hide away from it, because if it can only make things, it will make you feel worse. It really will. Right.
So we're going to go get the baby. Bye.
Bye.